No, I mean, I hear it. Like when you speak, it sounds like, just like crumpled paper a little.
Okay. Well, that's going to have to work because we are live. Welcome, everyone.
Beautiful.
This is From A to B, presented to you by Awesemo.com. Friday edition, we're going to do a little main slate preview, maybe talk a little Chargers Chiefs last night. There was a football game. They tossed around the pigskin, as they say. I'm Andrew, that's Ben. Ben, did you watch them toss around the pigskin?
I did, but if I'm being honest, so I was, it was a light college basketball night. I was
Oh
ready
my
for
God.
this
Did you
game.
really watch McNeil
No,
State instead of.
you could if you wanted to. They did easily cover for what it's worth, though. That's neither here nor there. I was super pumped for that game, and Keenan Allen that was almost an incredible catch. And then when he got hurt, I still watched the game, but it was not for DFS purposes. I almost had 100% of him, and it was just trying to salvage as less damage as I could, and I lost like 50% with 95% Keenan Allen. So what about you? It was a good game, obviously.
Yeah, really fun game. I was under on Keenan Allen. I sort of talked about this on the show. I loved the quarterback so much that it was hard to get him, and I liked the sort of narrower range of outcomes that he had. Zero was not in my projected range of outcomes for Keenan Allen, for what it's worth.
You don't say.
Yeah. Um, but he was in because like I try to make every lineup tell a story, and he was in my lineups that told the best story. There were like I had a lot of like Damian Williams, Chiefs defense, Chargers onslaught, and those were great, except for the Keenan Allen thing. I also had no Mike Williams captain. I had a lot of Mike Williams. I was over the field on him, but I didn't play him in captain a whole lot because I didn't think he was going to be the number one target hogging wide receiver because I didn't think Keenan Allen was going to break a hip in the first quarter or second
Yeah.
quarter.
Yeah, I had one really good team, and it was Mike Williams captain. But again, it was not. It was just one of those games. It on the betting side, I was happy. We both picked the Chargers to win that game last night.
Yeah,
You were really close. I had it going a little under the total, which it did not. You were, I think, 31-27, right?
yeah, I think so. 29-28. That's
That's the
perfect.
same thing.
My bookie is on life
He's
support, dude.
he's in a body bag.
Yeah,
Still alive, but he's in a body bag somehow.
right. He's breathing,
Um,
but it's through an iron lung. It's not.
yeah, you know him. But yeah, it was honestly the most annoying thing, and not that I played a ton of it, was in cash last night. Keenan Allen was like 70% owned, and I thought that was egregious. Like
Yeah,
he
that's
should have been 100%, and people got there without him. That was annoying because that was as easy of a plug and play in a setting like that as you're gonna find.
showdown cash a new thing for you.
Not a ton. I just played some double ups.
Hmm.
Not nothing aggressive, but I built a team that I was like, this is a perfect optimal team. Like it came right to the salary. It was I knew it would be duped 100 times over in big fields, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna use this. And I was actually really happy. Some really sharp guys that I consider sharp had the same build and single entry double ups, so I was pumped about that. Didn't work, but in theory,
Right.
it was a good idea.
Yeah, I had like my higher stakes team did not get it like I mean it was like three spots out of cashing with Keenan Allen. So,
Hmm.
I did like my most expensive teams sucked, didn't get there. I didn't play cash and I lost 30%. Like that's a totally fine showdown. you know.
No, it's
I
showdown.
had some really good, I had some good teams. Like they didn't get great because I didn't have Mike Williams captain. I just did not have and we see this, right? When truly wacky stuff happens, when like major injuries like that happen, it doesn't just affect Keenan Allen, like that affected Mike Williams. And like Mike Williams becomes a good captain at 5,800 when when he's the number one guy.
Oh yeah. I mean, just think if we were on the show last night, obviously, if Keenan Allen was ruled out, what would we have been saying?
Right.
Well, Mike Williams or Tyrell, like captain, jam them. They're clearly underpriced. The targets are going to be massive.
Yeah, you could fit in every Chief stud if you do it. Like,
Yeah. Now, when you don't get that news, that's the luxury. If you happen to have that, the ownership is in there. So it's just a massive spot. Like Mike Williams, captain, was certainly not a
no.
popular build. And
Because the news didn't come out until the second quarter. I don't know
that's
if you
true.
noticed.
That's where late swap comes in. Really
Yeah.
late.
Right. FanDuel's second half shutdown. That shit is a riot.
I know those tweets are the most tilted. Like there was a tweet last night by FanDuel. It was just like, got Keenan Allen. Like, don't worry. It's just like, no, I'm gonna worry.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm already worried. Shut
that's
up,
not
FanDuel.
that's not how it works. But
No, it's
yeah,
not. I was a little heavier on Tyrell Williams too, and he did he dropped a touchdown pass that he should have caught right in the end zone, like no big deal. They were not far out, and then the next play they ran it in with Justin Jackson. Like that did hurt me because I was over on both Williamses, all three Williamses, I guess if you count the other one. Not the fourth one though. That guy played too. People who played all four Williams, were those good teams?
yeah, I know. I jokingly
All
said
four Williams and the two quarterbacks, that would have been pretty good.
definitely. Yeah, as a joke, I tweeted like, don't misclick the wrong D Williams. Turns out there was no wrong D Williams. Who knew?
Good joke, buddy.
I'm trying. It's a marketing push. What can I say? As I lose the few Twitter followers that I have.
Got some likes.
Yeah, it's all about those likes. What's up, Patty? We got some people in chat. How you doing?
So what's up, Jack? We're gonna hide the body later, Jack. That's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be good.
Tell them.
With that lightning money.
I know.
Did they win again last night?
What?
Did they win again last night?
Who? The Lightning?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Lightning are on fire. Not that this is not my account. That's they are good though. They especially at home, deadly.
Can Lightning be on fire, man?
I don't know anything about anything with I'm not a meteorologist. I don't understand stuff like lightning.
It's just pure electricity, though, right? Like it itself can't be on fire. I don't know. It causes fire.
That can confirm. But yeah, bowl season tomorrow. I'm excited. I know you probably aren't nearly as excited, but
what's your favorite chip sponsored bowl? Tostitos or the Frito-Lay?
What's that one?
Frito Pie Bowl.
Yeah, that's the
come up? Was that a conversation you and I were both involved in? Like what Frito Pie actually is? I feel like this came up recently.
Definitely not me.
Okay.
Nope. But there are not good games tomorrow. There are games to bet. Jump in the premium sports channel. We're talking them. I certainly break them down. I'll be playing DFS on those as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say you playing some DFS. You got
yeah.
You're gonna be running two. You got two Slack channels to run.
I know, man. Busy man. What can I say?
You should sign up if you haven't yet for a free trial over at awesemo.com. Promo code from A to B. Make us look good. Like us if you don't mind, and also a couple things. We'll talk about the 24 days thing later because you got to comment after the thing's over. But you know this about this Yahoo business, Ben?
Yeah, this is actually worth talking about. So obviously we're doing, and you probably have the details. I don't, but I believe
stall for a minute as I pull them up.
Yeah. So what it is, if you haven't seen it, it's been floating around. Yahoo, and this is somewhat smart. They're offering a real size tournament. It's $1 million pool, but there's implied overlay. So even if it fills completely, it's only $750K. So they're going to be providing an extra $250 on top. It's only 10 entry max. I don't think it's going to fill. So there's a real chance that this tournament has 40% overlay. And objectively, you're not going to find a softer tournament anywhere the entire year. That's just a fact. You don't see things like this, especially with a big prize pool. It's $100K to first. So I rarely, honestly, we've talked about, I don't get to the some of the smaller sites too often, but I've actually made an exception. I will certainly be playing in that. It's just silly not to.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. If you go to sports.yahoo.com/dailyfantasy, use the promo code AWESEMO for your chance. If you don't mind, if you haven't signed up for Yahoo before, and you could use the promo code AWESEMO. Makes us look good. You get an extra $30 back on any deposit of $30 or more. So they'll double the bonus.
Makes it more. If you throw a couple bullets in there, the equity on your entries is double. Then you're getting $30 on top of it. That's the tournament. Someone's gonna win $100K in a half-filled tournament. Not bad.
Yeah, you're a fish to not do it. I'm gonna play over there. Yeah, it'll be fun. I don't know.
I have not played over there, so that's gonna be a new adventure for me.
Yeah, that's gotta be. I imagine I remember going to new sites before I was mainly a projection guy, it's tricky at first. Like, do you have? This is where we're talking for people who aren't like super big on projections themselves, because I can just crunch. I put in how much it costs for each player at Yahoo, and I put it into an optimizer, and it gives me what I want back, regardless. So, how do you go about doing that?
Yeah, it's trickier for me. And what's up, Eddie?
Hey,
Crashing the show. Hey,
Yeah,
everybody.
crashing the
Sorry about
show.
that.
We were just talking some Yahoo, though. You could catch Fast Eddie later today, though.
see about
It is tougher for me because obviously it's easy to just be like, oh, I've done the research for DraftKings. I'm just going to pick those guys. Like, obviously the scoring's a little different. You got to check what you're doing. I haven't even really dug in, so I will lean on, projections a little more than I normally would and things like that to kind of level that playing field, because I haven't looked at Yahoo Fantasy at all, and I will be playing. So
yeah, should be fun. We'll see how it goes. I think the really interesting thing there, and it comes down to what your goals are. But when there's like crazy overlay like that, I think the higher EV move is almost to just like run a train of whatever your cash team would be, and it's like should be a fairly easy double up
with incentive.
Yeah. So I think if you're like a more of a low stakes player trying to grind up a bankroll, that's honestly like kind of the optimal play. I'm going to be a lunatic in it though, just because I am trying to get that 100K. I don't know about you.
Well, the thing is though, and I totally get what you're saying. I think the 10 entry max is interesting because like you can only be somewhat of a, like you don't have that many stands. So
right. I'm just saying like I will play 10 entries that are just to try it.
But if this was 150 max, you would have a bunch of people really spraying, and not that would, it still would have the overlay, but with 10 entry max, you're going to be able to make some stands and
right.
I might run 5 teams twice, do it like that. So it's like a little hybrid, but I totally get what you're saying. It's not that hard to just run a $200 train and say, you know what, I have a real chance to just easily, double this up. And if I hit lightning in a bottle, you could get 10x across 10 lineups.
You could.
Or just win it with the train, and then you'll get a Roto Grinders thread complaining most likely.
Yeah. Whatever.
There we go.
Complain while you move to Belize, buy a little plot of land, wait for Bitcoin to come back,
Got it all planned out.
That good life. All right, let's get going here. We got to talk NFL main slate. We're 15 minutes in. This was been a fun intro, but let's give the people what they want. We're going to go position by position. Bit of a shorter slate. I mean, not really. All 16 teams are playing, so like they don't get that short. I think it's 11 games on the main slate, but we do have 2 Saturday games, which that'll be fun. 2 massive showdowns, I'm sure. Whatever, we're not going to talk about that today. Maybe we'll get into it tomorrow a little bit, like in Slack if you want to hit us up. But there will be content out, I think.
Yeah, I did do a show this morning with EMAC, and it was betting focused, but we got into the Saturday slate. We broke that down, so give that a click if you are looking to kind of attack the 2 game. We're gonna stick most of the main slate.
Excellent. All right, so position by position, we'll start off with quarterback. What do you got? You go first.
Man. Okay, I wanted to steal what you were going to say. It's not that easy. Normally it's like, oh my God, I could play 10 quarterbacks. And yeah, there's guys. I'm not saying that. There wasn't a ton where it really stood out, though. Russell Wilson's the most expensive guy. Didn't really like that. If I pay up, even though he's somewhat banged up, I know he's got the ribs. Big Ben at home against your boys. Pretty good spot. We'll see what the running back situation is, but it just feels like one of those legitimately, 400 yards passing is in play. It's going to be up and down. I will start some lineups there. We're going to go position by position, but I will say I'm having a harder time pairing a lot of my quarterbacks than usual. So that was my first take, and then I'll give one more. I'll pass it to you. And this guy, another one, your boy. I'm going to Kirk Cousins, and I don't know if anyone's really going to do that. I know what bad.
No, that's like my favorite tournament play by far. I think he's going to be low known.
Well, then I won't even. Good. I won't even say much about it. I'll pass it right to you. We did not talk about that either. Like I had no idea. What makes you? Because I find it very interesting.
Mind meld, dude.
Yeah.
He's just very stackable. It's what you were saying. It's hard to stack guys. Like, yeah, Ben and Brady stacks are going to be the chalk for good reason, but they're pretty expensive. The Cousins Thielen Diggs stack is not cheap, but it's going to come at much lower ownership. Miami's not a great defense. They're burnable. Like Xavier Howard's fine, but he's another one of those sort of Casey Hayward types where it's like he makes big plays and gives up big plays. So that doesn't scare me at all from a DFS perspective. So, and then Cousins, like that stack has paid off a lot. It's gotten really popular sometimes, and it's just not this week. So
It's not, after what we saw too. Like, obviously, I have no evidence of this, and I don't think it's an overly important point. But I do think that if you're on a showdown slate, what you do is magnified for ownership the next week.
Everyone's last thought is Kirk Cousins sucks. He got destroyed in Seattle.
And they experienced it.
We knew that was going to happen. We talked about that for the showdown. It's like they're not going to be, like that Vikings offensive line is terrible playing in the loudest stadium. I don't know, whatever. It's either that or like Arrowhead. I don't really know. But a bad offensive line playing in a tough road environment is going to that's really bad news. And they were awful.
Yeah, no. And I just think, on a main slate, when a guy plays bad, a lot of people don't even notice the game, because there's a lot going on. On a showdown, most likely either A, you had Kirk Cousins, or B, if you played, you watched the game. So it's just not that on people's mind. They fired the offense coordinator. There's a lot going on. But, and it's a little game log hunting because that's what it is. But if you look, Kirk Cousins has 3 monster showings this year, and that's what you get with him. Like, he has 35-plus point fantasy upside from the quarterback position. There's not a lot of people who have that.
And he's bad in real life, which also that helps in DFS, like for ownership, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think the big game, is the Ben and Brady stuff. I think is going to be the most important. Brady's 5,900. Eric, what's up, Eric? Good friend of mine in real life. The GOAT at 5.9K. I like that. I think he'll be pretty popular, but I got no real problem with that. They've historically beaten the crap out of the Steelers, and I think there's usually so much overlay that looking at sort of, not overlay, what's the term, turnover, that you don't really necessarily want to look at like team versus team matchups, but it's been the same coaching staffs this whole time. Like they've played, it's been the same quarterbacks, like the same defensive style at least. They played each other a ton. The Patriots just destroyed Pittsburgh. It's because you can't, Pittsburgh does that weird zone blitzy stuff. You can't blitz Tom Brady. That's stupid. So I think, all hands on deck there. I don't mind stacks with, this is just more from tournament perspective, and we'll get to the specific plays later, but I don't mind stacks with, White, Gronk, Gordon, Edelman. They're all there. So see how it goes.
No, I'm with you. He's going to be, I'd say, a little more popular than a guy like Cousins, and for good reason. I get it.
More, yeah.
Yeah, but I do have one more, and I don't have a ton of quarterback. This is if you're looking to, save a bunch. Do you have any interest in Nick Mullins? He's 4,800 at home. I think this is a bad spot for Seattle. I know they're playing good, but they're going on the road to a team they just destroyed, and the Niners are playing particularly better at home. I think they have some success in this spot.
No. I'd rather get like $300 more and go to Jeff Driscoll, who I have a little bit of interest in.
The Raiders. Yeah, that defense is bad.
They're really bad. And Jeff Driscoll's another guy who's very stackable because the Bengals are really thin. Tyler Boyd's been bad without AJ Green, but man, that volume against that defense. John Ross is how often do I talk about how beatable the Raiders are deep because they're old and slow? And then you've got the actual, we talk all the time, Tyreek Hill, very fast player, unbelievably fast, one of the 3-5 fastest players in the league. John Ross, the actual fastest player in the league, going up against an old and slow secondary. He'll be open deep. It's whether or not Driscoll can hit him. But for 5,100, I'm willing to take that chance a little bit.
I know it's early, and I think that's interesting. Do you plan to use Mixon and Driscoll together? Because I think Mixon is obviously the guy in that offense right now, and it's not insane, but it's a little against the grain.
Yeah, does Mixon end up the highest owned player on the slate, or is it? I guess it's probably Zeke, but like Mixon is gonna.
He's going to be up there.
Yeah, so he's. I mean, we'll get to running back in a second, but his price tag's just kind of wrong. I also don't mind the two running guys. My boy Lamar Jackson, your boy Josh Allen. They're projecting well. Those are guys you can run naked. Don't hate that. And then I'm interested in your take on one Aaron Rodgers. Playing against Chicago, crazy cheap.
He is crazy cheap. Honestly, though, it's funny. He's crazy cheap. I don't have that much interest, especially in tournaments. I'm not sure how high the ceiling is against a team like Chicago. I do worry about it. He's done it before. If they had something on the line, I would be a lot more interested. It feels like a spot where he returns a middling 15. Obviously I would say you're higher on him than I am.
I like the idea of it. I mean, he, carved him up, had a crazy game on, one knee and a ton of cortisone.
Week one.
Yeah, that was a wild game. Yeah, Adam Burke's out there saying Rodgers to Devontae. Like, I love Devontae Adams this week too. Like, I don't know. Yeah, Chicago's pretty good, but they lost one. They have 3 of the top 20 corners or something like that, and one of them is down, so that's gonna potentially be an issue. Not a huge one, but like, it starts to add up. And it's Aaron Rodgers, and I think, is he gonna be like 1-2% owned? I think it's possible.
Okay, I see it there. If you want to get away, say, you know what, Brady's gonna be popular, I can take $200 savings and an eighth of the ownership. Sure, I get that. It's still tough for me to really get there, in the sense, I don't know how many times he goes out and throws 3 or 4 touchdowns in this exact spot.
Yeah, it's gonna take Chicago's offense working. So
I'll tell you that much. If I use Rodgers, 100% I heavily stack the game.
Yeah.
Because you need the Bears to comply for him. If not, he could have a fine game. I mean, he hasn't thrown an interception low key in like months. I don't know if people have realized that. And that just shows what he is. That's not great for fantasy. That's almost irrelevant, to be honest.
Right. What do you think about like Jordan Howard with Rodgers, that showdown style?
I mean, I'd be more apt to go
okay.
on
Your face said it all. We can move on.
No, it's just every time I think, all right, Jordan Howard's working his way back in, it just doesn't work. I have to look at the Bears. They're a team that there's a lot of guys I'm like, but no one that stood out, whether it's Cohen, Robinson, Trey Burton.
Yep. Andrew Luck, very stackable too. The offense is pretty much all T.Y. Hilton and Eric Ebron at this point. I think he's going to be, again, I think Luck, Brady, Ben are like your highest sort of like expected ceiling guys, but those are also going to be, I would imagine, the 3 most popular. So we'll see what happens. We don't have our ownership projections in-house up yet, but they should be out soonish. And yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of Cousins, even Jeff Driscoll, just saving a little bit and going. That's where I'm likely to be wacky. I will certainly have Ben, Brady, Luck stacks,
Yeah, I mean, Luck, obviously Cowboys defense is good, but they'll move the ball. T.Y. Hilton is headed for, looks like a true game time decision. If he sits, that's going to be certainly a knockdown to the stack as a whole, but we'll see. It'll open up value at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. All right, that'll do it for quarterback. Let's move over to running back, where we are headed up by Zeke Elliott and Saquon Barkley. Those are the most expensive guys. Zeke's projection is a little bit higher. Saquon's a little more expensive, so I think Zeke is definitely the cash game guy. But I don't know, Saquon's kind of interesting to me for tournaments.
Yeah, Saquon. There's just going to be certain teams where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to put him in first, and I'll work around that massive price tag. Odell is not playing again. He's going to get plenty of work. It's not the best spot in the world, and he is overpriced, but you can pay the premium for a guy like that because there are just outcomes where it doesn't matter how expensive he is.
Yep. T.Y. didn't practice today. Thanks, Eric. I think if in that case, like, that will probably plummet Luck's ownership if he's not playing. And gets other guys, because who knows with the rest of them, right? Like, who wants to play Chester Rogers?
Inman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is tough for Luck because you want him to have that deep threat. Rest in peace, Dante Moncrief. We loved you while you were here.
He's somewhere on the slate. Disturbing.
Yeah, the Jags are out there against Washington. That is a shitty game.
Real bad.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you alluded to it. Mixon is just, I mean, the price is wrong. He's 6'1". It's going to be very popular. I can tell you for 100% he'll be in my cash team. He will on my tournament teams, a lot of them. And you can work around that. But between that and the top, the guy I wanted to ask you about is our old friend David Johnson.
Oh, Jesus.
He had 10 targets last week, and it was legitimately for let me get it up. I think it was 10 yards. Yeah, 8 catches for 12 yards.
Sick.
That obviously saves his floor. This is a good defense to attack with the running back, obviously. I'm going to have some. I definitely am, but it's regardless of the matchup, it's scary, especially because the Cardinals line, you've talked about this. It's not what it was. It's they've lost some key pieces, and that could affect that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Arizona has no offensive line. Sorry, good point. I spaced out for a second there. I'm that you asked me that because I wanted to ask you that about David Johnson because it's like every time I feel like I'm finally done with him. I didn't play him much last week, and then he finally had a reasonable game. But you're the Atlanta whisperer. I don't know. I mean, we all know, Atlanta begs you to throw to running backs. Does David Johnson get 8 catches for 12 yards again, or does he stretch that out to 24 yards?
Yeah, that's the age-old question. I mean, I think it's a situation. I've tapered off on him. Obviously, it hasn't come to fruition. Part of it's they have no, even for the Falcons, they don't have the most talent on defense, obviously. But they're not dumb enough they'll realize that the Cardinals don't have much around him. Kirk is gone. Larry Fitz is there, obviously. But other than that, they're using a guy I've never heard of. Ricky Seals-Jones, unfortunately, is not ever walking through that door to do something good.
Hey, spoiler.
I had him on some good teams last week.
Yeah, no doubt. Me too.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
I'm going to have him on some good teams this week, too, I'll tell you.
Yeah, so his game starts, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
You can go there. I don't think he'll be overly popular, but at the same time, it's, the 1,000 savings to Mixon is just clearly an optimal play. There's no arguing that.
I do think you could play all 3 in cash.
Who's the third?
Zeke.
Saquon? Zeke. Oh, Zeke. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's enough
Zeke and
value
Mixon,
out there.
I think, kind of come loaded into your cash lineups. Am I wrong there?
I mean, I've been playing Zeke in cash for a while now. We talked about this. He has the lowest range of outcomes, kind of like Keenan Allen. You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute. But as long as he's healthy, and it looks like he is, I know he got a little banged up. I'll probably try. I don't think I get David Johnson in cash. I can tell you right now.
Okay, I'm not sure if I will, but it's something I've been thinking about. So.
We have a couple questions from chat. We're going to get to those when we get to receivers. They're about receivers. They're interesting, though.
Okay. Other potential options, I'm just going to run down some guys that I had on my list for tournaments. It's a smaller pool of running backs for me this week than it usually is. But Dalvin Cook, Jalen Samuels, assuming Connor's out, he's questionable right now. I don't think he plays. I haven't projected out. Another guy I've lost too much money on this year, Tevin Coleman. Chris Ivory at 3,600 with no shady it's probably a low ceiling play, but I don't know. I guess it's not because he could what if he runs in 2 or 3?
Yeah, I mean that's something we have to keep an eye on. I think Shady might play still. So
okay. If
Shady plays, I think then it's over.
Right. Okay. Not even a chance. I'm saying it's not even that interesting to me if Shady plays, but I have to think about it. Yeah,
I'm with you.
He doesn't play.
I saw they said, I believe that McCoy's practicing on today.
Okay.
So who knows with that? You got to look. to him though. That's really cheap. I'm with you though. I didn't see a ton of stuff. If Breida sits, I might hang on to Jeff Wilson. I know he didn't do much last week. He was, that game was really odd. Kittle exploded. They were out in front. I might try to go back there, but all in all, I don't think I'm going to have like that big of a running back pool. I think I keep it pretty simple, and I'm mostly paying up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting schooled left and right by chat. Sorry, guys. I did not look. Normally I'm on top of this. I just didn't look at the practice reports today. I just had my projections as of last night and didn't check it out yet. So.
No, we'll see. I mean,
Shady trending towards playing, Ty trending towards out. So, never mind.
It happens. There's a lot, right? Like, I wrote in my article, which is available on the site, obviously. One of my key question of the week was kind of, this is the time of the year where there's just so many guys that probably could play if they really need them, and could sit if it's, why are we going to push them out there? So, like, someone like Shady, yeah, I don't know anything, in terms of pertinent information, but if Buffalo was in the playoff hunt, he'd be playing. I can say that, not without question, but I really feel that. And at this time, obviously they're not. Maybe they just sit him to sit him. It's like, there's a lot of that going on.
What makes it tough to be in the playoff hunt? Having a quarterback room of Josh Allen, Nathan Peterman, Derek Anderson.
Matt Barkley, 1-0.
Jesus. Yeah, they suck. They're not in the playoff hunt. So not a lot of incentive for Shady to play, but who knows? We'll see what happens.
You heard it here first. Buffalo not finding the Are you going last, and then we can move on? Do you have any interest in James White?
Yeah, I like him in Brady stacks more. Good pass catcher, blah, blah, blah. The rest of the running backs get a little ugly, like with Sony Michel and Rex Burkhead, like they cannibalize each other just enough. Again, it's like old school Patriots now, where it's like would you be surprised if one of them went crazy? I mean, yes, I would be surprised, but not like it would.
No, it can happen.
Yeah, it's not.
And now we have
Black Swan event.
Obviously, it's a given this guy's not playable, but Devlin is taking goal line. Like he is fine, and that kills Sony Michel. Like, because he's not going to get the passing work. James White has a real path. Burkhead is scary, but James White could catch 12 balls. If Sony Michel isn't finding the end zone, there's no chance for him to get there.
Right. Especially with the greatest sneaking quarterback of all time,
Drew Brees.
No, that's Taysom Hill. He's a different guy, same team.
I see what you did there.
Yep.
To receiver?
Yeah, onward.
All right. So I want to get to this question because it's interesting, and it circles all the way back to Kirk Cousins. Chad was asking about, do you lean to Thielen or Diggs? Diggs and Cousins maybe have some stuff going on. Do you have a thought there? It's tough.
They have some stuff going on? What does that mean? Like a poker game?
What about the possible rift between Cousins and Diggs?
I haven't heard about this. Fill me.
Neither have I. But, if there's a possible rift, I have no idea. That's stuff. It's late in the year. I'm sure they're frustrated. There was probably some comments made. They fired an offensive coordinator.
Young rising star. It's all we talk about on Monday night. Coach. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't make any difference to me. They're gonna.
No, not that aspect. I just meant with that notwithstanding, do you have a feel between Thielen or Diggs, or are you just going to use both?
I'm going to use both. In my cousin's tournament stacks, yeah, it's just all hands on deck.
Okay. Because, and I would assume Xavier Howard would take Diggs, and Fitzpatrick would take Thielen?
Yep.
Okay. And they're both good.
Yeah. I'm not that worried about it. Both of those guys we've seen make awful mistakes. They can stop some plays from happening, but they can also give up some big ones.
No, I think it's a fair matchup. They're good players on both sides of that. But when you're dealing with that, you can just get the better of that. Like, Diggs could torch him, no doubt about it, and Xavier Howard could pick a few Cousins passes, which I'm willing to live with that.
Diggs was acting demonstrably after missed passes in Seattle. That is not a real sentence, Seth. Learn how to write. But Diggs was acting demonstrably upset. He was demonstrably upset. Something like that. I believe that. Listen, fella, you're working with Kirk Cousins. Like, you're going to get missed.
Yeah, frustrating.
Yeah.
Your season's falling apart.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins sucks. We've been saying this for a long time. He's not a good real-life quarterback. He's going to miss a lot of passes. Can be really good for fantasy because he's willing to take some shots, and I like that. He also just he's got a very hateable face. He looks like Cillian Murphy. You know that guy, the actor?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Scarecrow from Batman movies.
See that a little.
It's the eyes. He has the very intense, and just.
That's the guy from Peaky Blinders.
Yeah, I never saw that. We'll talk. We'll talk favorite Netflix shows on the mailbag. One of these days.
That's next week.
Yeah, we for that on the NFL main slate. But yeah, I don't know. Kirk Cousins just kind of looks evil sometimes. Don't you think?
Okay, fair enough. No, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I like Diggs and Thielen fine for tournaments. Obviously, only with Cousins. Who do you like for wide receiver in general?
So this is the same situation though. Like my two quarterbacks I mentioned right off the top. The other's Big Ben. Do you have a feel between AB and Juju? To me, gut feel is AB, but he's probably going to draw. Not that I'm worried about Gilmore, but it's tough. Do you have an inkling of the Patriots? They like to take something away. Did they say I'm going to bracket AB and live with Juju?
Not really sure. I think that AB still gets the. I think the reason Juju's had a better season is because teams are generally doing that. They're giving Antonio Brown more attention. It's like the AB and Juju are kind of the Diggs and Thielen type thing, where it's like Diggs and Brown are the better players, but that also means they're getting way more attention, so the other guys are getting more chances to win in single coverage. They're also playing in the slot. We talk a lot about how difficult playing slot corner is. It's just a much more, it's a tougher area of the field to cover. So yeah, I prefer Juju. Certainly in cash, I think you can get up to him, and I'm thinking about it. It's not a lock for me, but he's the one I like more. I do think he'll be more popular, which is odd when you think of Antonio Brown, who's just the absolute man. If he's going to be he's not going to be low owned for sure, but this is going to be the most popular game to stack. It's the most fun game to watch, I think. But
yeah, I'm more prone to have AB. I'm going to have both, obviously, with Big Ben, but my gut feel, I think Antonio Brown at home is in a good spot. Obviously, he's expensive though, so. Working down, you mentioned, these are some high-end guys. You mentioned Devontae Adams. I totally get that. Edelman, and you alluded to this earlier in the show, kind of what Pittsburgh does, that underneath quick throw that Brady loved. This is just one of those where Edelman is just getting peppered. I think that's very reasonable to say. This could be one of his, 11 catches, 75 yards type performances. So the floor is there. I might look to him in cash, actually.
Okay. I'm probably not going to do that, but that's interesting to me. How easy of a fade is Amari Cooper this week?
Yeah, it's pretty easy, not going to lie. Michael Gallup, I know I'm jumping around a little. I would rather play him. He's in a different price range, obviously. He's seen a lot of snaps. He's getting some targets. Amari Cooper is going to, much like his Alabama teammate, but Calvin Ridley, we saw who at the beginning was never going to not, these guys regress, and you couldn't have had a better, that was absurd last week.
He had 5, 6, 7 points through 3.5 quarters.
The game was 9-6.
53.
Yeah, it was 9-6.
He had a big fourth quarter and overtime. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah. Not gonna, and you know what? I get it. Amari Cooper, obviously, he's got massive talent, but at high ownership, no, definitely not for me. And if he gets there again, there's gonna be a lot of people saying why wouldn't you play a guy who just had 3 touchdowns?
Yeah,
I get it, but
I'll tell you.
That's not exactly how it works.
Let me explain why. Yeah, I'm not on Amari Cooper at all. I will probably full fade and go 0%, which is not often my style, but I think sometimes when I get pissed about a player going off like that. So
the thing that's great about that is that Amari Cooper is the kind of guy, and we all know this, that it's not I faded him and I got away with it. He only got 9. Amari Cooper could get 1. He is that type of guy where he's just, there are going to be games, and I know with the Cowboys he's looked a lot better. But when you fade him, the potential to get it right, you get paid off in full. It's not like some guys where it's I faded him in tournaments because I didn't think the ceiling was there, and he got 2x. Amari Cooper has a big blow-up potential. Not
Yes.
the matchup, I think, is pretty good for Dallas. It's not that. It's just
Indy doesn't get burned on like the crazy deep stuff though, because they drop safeties back. So you're not going to see the 75-yard blown coverage when Dak's under fire touchdown that we got last week. But I also think part of it too is just because like Dak, we didn't talk about Dak and quarterbacks. I'm not that interested, but like Dak, Zeke, Amari stacks, like obviously won everything last week, and they're not. I mean, they're expensive, but I think those are going to be really popular. So I'm probably
no chance.
Certainly not doing that. David Johnson's questionable. How serious? David Johnson will play Sunday. Just got a tweet about that, so he is in.
How much Robert Foster? Oh yeah,
down the list to him. He's in play.
He's definitely in play.
Yeah. I mean, it comes down to how popular he's going to be for me, I think, because he's got Josh Allen throwing to him, so the guy is certainly live to get one catch for 5 yards on 11 targets.
You tell him. But
if he gets 11 targets, I think he's probably going to catch, 5 of them, 6 of them.
Yeah, I mean, they've connected on some monster shots. The thing that helps him is Odell's not playing, and Sterling Shepard is right next to him. He's going to be popular. So that'll alleviate some of the ownership. It is what it is with a guy like that. I would love to say I'm going to take a stab with Smokey. He's there, 4,400 for the Ravens, but you just can't target those guys with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, you can't throw the ball. It's tough. It's really hard to play wide receivers for these gimmicky running quarterbacks that can't throw to save their lives, like Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen.
Yeah, it must be tough to watch Josh Allen repeatedly get in the end zone while you're supposed to be catching it.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Must be hard. Okay. Sterling Shepard is going to end up projecting well. I haven't put Odell out in. I haven't done an update this morning yet. But I am a little scared of it. I just think the production of that offense in general gets really hurt without Odell there. It's like, we've seen this a lot. Like Tyler Boyd has been better with AJ Green out there. Kenny Golladay was better when he had Marvin Jones around. I'm not so sure that Sterling Shepard certainly doesn't do a very good job of just stepping into number one wide receiver production. And he plays a different position than Odell, too. So
fair. They obviously looked good last week. I know that game got out of control. Washington, that wasn't a real game. Saquon and the defense ended it long before. It's weird. I agree with this in the sense that Sterling Shepard, the reason you play him is because it's very safe. He's actually not very safe, but ironically, I think he has a pretty good ceiling at the same time. So it's do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. You know what I mean?
He's going to have to do it himself because I don't think Eli's going to take deep shots to him. That he doesn't play outside. So, when you hear, there's a bomb to Shepard, don't get excited. It's not. That's Russell.
That's Russell Shepard.
Yeah.
Who usually wears long sleeves, which is nice. That's how I separate some of those dudes.
He has a different number too.
So that's what they tell me, but that's not enough for me. I need outfit. Yeah, I don't know. We got who else here?
Kenny Stills
Randall.
Was one.
Go ahead.
At first, Kenny Stills was 1% owned last week. He's not going to be 1% owned this week. Played a lot of him last week. It was fun. I don't know. I think he's projecting fine. I like him. I think he's going to be involved in my teams this week, even though he is not going to be as crazy of a play as he was last week. Especially if you're doing a little Cousins, Diggs, Thielen stack.
I think I'm trending towards, and this is because I have a feeling people will play a good amount of him. I don't think I'm going to have any. I think that because Kenny Stills, we saw what he can do. It's not Xavier Rhodes obviously is very good, and it's Kenny Stills. So I'm going to try to get Miami exposure somewhere else, or just not run it back with anybody.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. I think he might end up being kind of shockingly popular.
That's what I'm saying. And it's Kenny Stills. This is a guy who could get another one. Like the bad is really bad.
Right. He's another one of those guys that it's weird. He's not a guy who has much floor. He's a deep ball catcher and needs to do that. So the range of outcomes is very wide. Could get ugly for Kenny Stills. That said, if he's 12, 15% owned, I think there's a much better chance in 12 or 15% that he has a big ass game. So like I'm gonna play him if he's 12 or 15% owned. If he somehow becomes the 30% owned like mega chalk,
Well, he's not.
That's not happening. But that's where I would certainly be under. I like him enough this week that I'm okay playing him at mild chalkiness.
Yeah, I'm not there. Like if he's 10, 12%, maybe I take a flyer here and there. But not for me. What I had mentioned, Randall Cobb is in that same range. He does always kill the Bears. I'm not.
The guy that they lost was the slot guy too. I'm pretty sure. So that does help for.
So there you go. I mean, what has Cobb been doing? He's had such a he's always hurt. Last week obviously was, I think it was
That was his first week back, right?
No, he had played in week 13 too, I believe. Yeah, I have it right here. Let me look. So yeah, you're gonna get, obviously with him in PPR, that floor is not bad if he gets the targets. Easy catches. He could have 7-8 targets, 7-8 receptions, and you gotta hope he finds the end zone. Maybe against the grain if you don't want to use Devontae Adams.
Okay.
There's worse.
Yeah, and it's Bryce Callahan that they lost for the season. And he, I want to say, was PFF's like number one corner grade on.
Oh wow.
He'd been a boss, and Fuller's up there too, who Adams will see. But again, I don't really care about the cornerback you're facing. There's just so many more advantages for the offense now, and I think it does come down more to what the defensive line is doing to the offensive line. And is it a quarterback that needs time to throw? Is he okay throwing? Like Rodgers, I'm not super worried about with the Bears defense. So
I think my thoughts on just that general topic, and this is what I thought, and I'm using one sample size, so I'm not justifying with this, but like last week we had mentioned Kenny Golladay with Patrick Peterson. I think it's more not that they can't get these guys good games, it's that quarterbacks are now saying, you know what, I'm not going to go there as much. I'm just going to live, with the other targets. And that's sometimes I get worried that they don't even attempt to exploit it.
100%. And that is true of Patrick Peterson. That was true of Richard Sherman back in the day. That's the sign of an actual shutdown corner, is that they just don't get thrown at.
Yeah.
But Aaron Rodgers doesn't care about your shutdown cornerback. And there's only a couple, right? Like Patrick Peterson is legitimately one of the only guys that, like Xavier Rhodes is not like he takes someone completely out of a game. They just don't even look that way. Darius Slay is not someone that, a quarterback is going to be like, oh, I'm not going over there. Like those guys are not that big of a deal.
No, I agree. There's two different things. There are guys, and it's impressive, but like if you get 12, 15 targets, you're going to catch them. I don't care who you're going against. It's the guys who get 3 looks because they have a tougher matchup, and the team says, you know what, we're just going to attack via XYZ. That's the problematic spot.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fair. Okay, well, speaking of Kenny Golladay, where the hell are they going to throw? Like, we got no Bruce Ellington this week. Like,
no.
You like Kenny Golladay?
No, I don't like any of them. I like Buffalo's defense. I'm not messing around with it. The Lions, to me, just have no upside. Maybe there's a guy, but this just has Stafford throwing for $160 all. I'm just.
What do you think happens in the game? Do you think Buffalo wins?
I do.
Okay, then how is Stafford going to throw for 160 yards if they lose?
Because it could be 13-10. Like, it's just ineffective. They'll probably try to establish the run, like with LeGarrette Blount and the gang. I mean, look at the game last week with the Lions. Like Stafford they won 17-3, and Stafford had 101 yards passing.
Right, and they were able to run the ball, and they beat the crap out of a terrible Arizona team. But if you think Buffalo hangs with them, and I do too, I think they're going to have trouble in this game. Then Stafford's going to have to throw, and Galladay's going to see volume. And he's cheap, and he's like the number one. He's the only guy they have. Like, I don't know. I'm going to have.
I'm not. Galladay's definitely. I have a lot more interest this week when I had 0% last week. He got $1,000 price bump, and Tre'Davious White is a good corner. Is he in the Patrick Peterson category? No. But it's in Buffalo. Check the weather. You never know. I won't be too scared if I end up with no Lions this week. That's kind of what I'm saying, though.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, I do agree with you it's a bad spot. I'm just saying, like, can it get any worse for them? Isn't Kenny Golladay kind of in play just because of what I said? So,
but at the same time, there's a real chance that nobody gets there on the Lions. It's not like it was where it's like, oh, somebody's gonna get or not. Like
there's a chance the whole offense fails and they're just a disaster.
Yeah,
with you. I just think that if they're even remotely successful, that upside on Kenny Golladay is huge because he is definitely the number one there. And I don't think he'll be all that popular because he's been really bad the last couple of weeks.
He's been awful. Like he burned people on Thanksgiving. He was non-existent last week. He's going to be, I'd say, sub 5%.
Yeah. So I like him a lot as a tournament play as of this moment. We'll see what happens. Tyler Boyd and John Ross, I think, are both pretty interesting. I think Tyler Boyd is like cashy. And then I really like John Ross to haul in a deep one. He's so fast, dude. And so slow.
Driscoll, Mixon, Boyd, Ross, Uzomah, and the defense.
$1 million. Mine.
Boom. And then you change your name to Cincy Kid, so then everyone knows why you did it. Because every time you look at Philly,
I'm going to change my name to Bojack Horseman.
Yeah, smart. So just we're not really getting too much into lineup construction, but Mixon and Boyd in cash potentially? I think
that's going to happen.
Is there a chance that Driscoll's your cash QB?
I don't think so. Okay. That's a little too much risk. Maybe I could see doing that for the head-to-head triple up, quadruple ups kind of things, but I feel like Uzomah's kind of showing up in projections. I'm going to have to do something about the Bengals total yards per play because just at this point it's just play them all, dude. Oakland's really bad and they're all free.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the Bengals as a whole. Uzomah's a guy no problem with Boyd. It's tough if you don't use their quarterback because some people would disagree, but using 3 weapons with not Driscoll seems problematic.
Yeah. Chat's loving the Bojack thing. Stay tuned because we will eventually be implementing a segment into our show. It's called DFS Player or Cartoon Show. And he's going to have to guess.
You hear this helicopter? It sounds like there's a helicopter landing on my apartment.
I can hear it. Could you tell them to quiet down, please? We're trying to...
Times are tough here. I'm going on mute. But, is there anyone else before we move to tight end?
Dante Pettis, maybe. Larry Fitzgerald's free also. That's about it. That's about it. Giants roulette, and then I like, certain Patriots combos, certainly with Brady. But I don't think that any of the Patriots, you were arguing for Edelman in cash. That's fine. I probably don't get any Patriot wide receiver in cash. I may end up with Gronk in cash. So let's seg to the tight end position.
All right. It's bad. Obviously Kelsey's not there. Kittle had that huge game. Ebron getting the volume. I'm looking to save at tight end. Uzomah, you had mentioned him. He's getting some targets. He's going to have to find the end zone probably to really get you there in tournaments. But I think this is a situation for me. I don't see a ton of ceiling potential out there across the board. So I'll say, you know what, if Uzomah gives me 11, it might not be that bad. Even in tournaments.
If Uzomah gives you 11, you are dancing on the rooftop.
No,
dude.
but you know what I mean.
It's going to give you 6.
Yes, but you know what I mean. Just in the sense of in tournaments like the Millie, you really need ceilings. Sometimes getting 4x from a 3K punt doesn't do anything if other guys are going for 32. Kittle last week, obviously. That's it. Just there's not that many guys with huge upside, even if they hit their ceilings with this. It's ugly.
Are you playing Kittle this week?
No.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me reframe that. I'm going to have some Mullins, and there's a chance I use Kittle with him, but I'm not super into it on the whole.
Mullins is so bad.
He is, but he's 4,800 at home, and I think
I'm not talking about him as a play. I'm talking about Kittle as a play. I don't like because he's going to be massive chalk.
I know.
Every time that guy has a decent game, he's like hugely owned the next week. And then you wait 4 weeks, and then no one's on him, and then you can play him, and he's going to have one of his huge games. But he's like,
I had him last week.
Yeah, exactly. The last
sure.
no one was on him, and now he's been so popular when he's like after a good game. He's going to be super popular this week. Very live to do absolutely nothing because Nick Mullins sucks.
That's fine. I don't even disagree with that. I probably, if I use Nick Mullins, depends how much I use. If I use a multitude, I have to have some Kittle with him. You just do.
Absolutely.
But Pettis, honestly, I have to look at the snap counts and whatnot. But Mark, your speedster, good win. He's been doing nothing. He's been hurt. He had personal problems. He's always live to do something if he's out there.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
No, I think it's an interesting play, and to the way that you're talking about it, I do think makes some sense because if you're gonna play, like, no one's gonna play Nick Mullins. Let's.
That's what I'm saying.
So you can play Kittle in that, but you'll still be you'll be a unique player because
the leverage on Kittle is the quarterback, and I know it sounds ridiculous because it's his quarterback, but honestly, there will be clearly more Kittle without Mullins than Kittle with Mullins.
No, I think Kittle's 18% owned and Mullins is 1% owned. So
that's what I'm saying. So there you go. I think the Niners win that game. There you go.
Okay, I don't. There you go.
You know what the spread is?
Yeah,
Seattle
by 3.5.
Yeah, didn't it seem low to you? Yeah,
I didn't look. I'm playing guess the spread. Doing good. I do listen. Maybe I had an inception. I do listen to that Bill and Sal podcast every week. But I kind of half pay attention to it.
It's been dropping. It opened at like 5.
Oh, okay.
So I thought it would be more coming off that big game. I thought it might be like Hawks, -6, -7.
Yeah, I don't know. People love. I mean, Seattle's got a big home field advantage, right?
That's true.
Second game in division, right? Isn't that a trap? What are some other NFL cliches we could use here? That's all I got. Trap game, second game in division on the road. Spreads
rivalry
3.5 points.
They'll get up for this one.
What are you gonna do? Pick a side. The public likes. All right, that's all I got.
What
Hunter is my smash play this weekend.
Yeah, smash play. There you go. There's the narrative for you.
Verno. We got Jordan Reed dead forever. Josh Johnson. Do you like Vernon Davis at all?
No,
Basically,
I really don't. I'm much more interested in the Jaguars defense. Like, I'm not messing around with these teams that have implied totals in the it just seems unnecessary. So
he's just got such a big ceiling because he's so goddamn fast. I don't know. I do like the idea of him, and I don't think he'll be popular. And
I'd rather have Vance McDonald.
Sure, but he's going to be what, 8 times the owner? Like, is Vernon Davis going to be more than 2-3% owned, and Vance McDonald will be 10 or 12, right?
See, I have that. Like, Vernon Davis is 5 and Vance McDonald is 8.
That would be surprising to me, but maybe.
Oh, I mean, that's just a gut feel. I think a lot of people see Jordan Reed out and they look to the Redskins and they're just like, oh, Vernon Davis, like, he has a couple good games. He's going to get a boost. And Vance McDonald hasn't been doing anything. There's other targets. So, we're going to wait and see.
Right, Gronk shows up in those game stacks more. I guess you're right, yeah. That's surprising me. I would have thought no one would care for Vernon Davis because he's been around forever and has a bad rep, but he's so fast. He just has like crazy upside, I think.
People are clamoring for your talk, your hot linguistics over there, dropping that fire. Yeah, Chad's all about that nonsense, but what can you do?
What we're gonna do next is talk about another couple tight ends. Let's dive into the bottom of the barrel here.
There's more?
Well, I don't know. I was trying to do radio voice. Listen, that's not really my thing. I had a couple. It was good. Like, when it comes to me, if I remember it, I will spit the fire. Jimmy G. Do you like him at all at tight end? The real Jimmy G?
I prefer Trey Burton at the same price. But yeah, you can go there. If those are the kind of guys, if I go to Rodgers, I have a feeling I'm just gonna have a full onslaught. So like I
Yeah.
might have like Rodgers, Adams, Graham, Burton, and some like Cohen, and
Cobb.
just go for it.
Yeah.
Because I don't see many ways that it's middling. I really don't.
That makes sense. I mean, the only guy I would say as a one-off in tournaments you could do is Adams because he's gonna get
Oh yeah, he's in a different.
8 catches for 95 yards and a touchdown. He does it every single week.
Yes, he's phenomenal. I had him in cash last week. He's just great.
I think I did too. I've played him a lot in cash lately. He's been good. It's so weird how his career trajectory, just from the year was it 2014 or 15 where Jordy tore his ACL preseason. It was like Devontae Adams is going to be such a great play. He was just so bad that year. But has steadily climbed the ladder, had a nice career for himself, playing very well. I like Devontae Adams. I don't mind Jimmy Graham a little bit. But I do like Gronk. I think I'm going to try to pay up for Gronk in cash, even though he's not projecting like the best play. That, I don't know. Talk to me about that. I mean, I'm pretty good at not being a homer, but like, and it might just be like the recency bias, but when he was 4,800 last week and I barely played him, it stung a little bit.
Yeah, see, it's funny. I'm on a different trajectory because I had been playing him. I held on. I got a good piece of that last. That was the only. I misread that game. Did not think it would be what it was, but I had some Gronk.
You didn't call that closing play?
Yeah, no, that was the one thing I got right. You know, I knew if the Dolphins could just get the ball, needing to go.
They just needed to be
yards.
down 5 with 15 seconds left and no timeouts, and got them right where they want them.
The thing about, and I don't know, Gronk seems to always kills the Steelers, but I worry that they try to take him out, and just really allocate some. No,
How's that been working for them in the past?
I know, and I know this is like one of these things where it's like they've had so many opportunities to adjust what they do and they haven't, and then I see myself being like, well, they have to adjust what they do, and they have not done that in the past.
And they play zone, so it's like, how do you even like concentrate on someone if you're dropping into a zone?
Well, no, and I do know they play zone, but you can still allocate like
Right, yeah,
within
you
a
have
zone.
safety, like, yes. And it's not true zone. I'm kind of trolling you, but it's like,
Yeah, no, I know you know that. Like, yeah, there are ways, obviously. I'm not opposed to Gronk, but at 5,800, you got $1,000 price boost. I think there's a reasonable chance that he just has a standard quiet game. So maybe in cash, you can go there at such a weak position. In tournaments, if he's popular, I'm coming in underweight.
he'll be popular. It's him and Kittle are going to be the chalk to tight end, right?
I'm going to be underweight on both of them.
Okay.
Hooper.
Maybe I'll do that and play him in cash and not play him in tournaments. I mean,
That's a fine
reasonable.
edge.
I just don't think that there's really a way. Like the Patriots, now that they have the whole roster healthy, like all the weapons, like there's not really. Like, go ahead and take out Gronk, and then Edelman's just gonna, Brady's perfectly happy throwing, 9-yard passes to Edelman over and over again. I know that's what you're saying, and that that for DFS that still would hurt Gronk. I'm just saying from real life football, it doesn't make sense to do that because the Patriots will still be able to move the ball. So I'm not sure that they like sell out to stop one guy. They're just
No, it's a very fair point. I don't want to say it's a gut feel because that's not what I'm basing it on, but that's why I like Edelman a lot. I do think that they allocate priority number 1 to contain Gronk, and it opens it up for that underneath pass, but we'll see. I mean, Gronk showed life. Everyone was debating if we were ever going to see that upside again.
Right. My egregious take last week was, I think he could do the 7 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. I just don't think you're going to see the crazy Gronk 150-yard games anymore. I think those days are over. Well, rip me. Okay. Ebron too. Thanks, Eric. Ebron will be the other chalk guy for sure. It's those 3. What do you make of Ebron this week? I don't know.
I mean, I think he's fine. Obviously, the concentration of targets there is great. It's very easy to predict. He's one though. It's like, how many more can he get? So if T.Y. Hilton sits, I actually think that hurts him.
Yeah, I do too. Because it if T.Y. Hilton's out, Ebron's going to have safeties closer to him because T.Y. is so fast. Like you have to back off of him. He stretches it a lot. Yeah.
No doubt about it. And a lot of people, and I get it, it's counterintuitive. They're like, oh, Hilton's gone. That means Ebron's going to get 30. Like, no, it doesn't exactly work like that. He's in an offense right now. He doesn't need any more targets. He's going to get all he can handle with Hilton. If Hilton's, it's just going to be horrible spots. I think that would really hurt the Colts offense as a whole.
Right. I agree. You can't get more than 13 targets or whatever. That's not really silly. Doesn't go up from there. They just become less efficient.
Yep.
Okay, defense.
All right, what do we got here? Let me click on the little tab.
Not as many cheapies as there were last week. Like there were a ton of teams that were like 2,200 or 2,500 that I thought you could play no problem last week. This week, I think you do want to spend up a little bit. Baltimore is sort of the top optimal. They're $3,000. Jacksonville, certainly a good play. 3,500.
I'm with you. I think, the Bills are almost as cheap as I'm willing to go. There's some flyers down there, but I don't see a ton of incentive. You're right. Last week, there were options up and down. Baltimore, the Jags. I mean, those are spots like they check all the boxes. That doesn't mean it's going to work, obviously. But, man, those are tough spots, especially with Jameis. We know what he is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wedo Boys saying Lions D, sneaky play. I can buy that. They're so cheap. It's it's Josh Allen. That's always like a reasonable play. He's been better, but he's certainly have to throw some crazy picks. And it doesn't even like the Lions defense is falling apart, but it almost doesn't matter with someone like Josh Allen.
Not at all. I may not get there, but I totally get why someone would do that in a big field tournament.
Yep. Cincinnati, is that crazy? They're also a bad defense, but Oakland, my God.
When I wrote my article, I was originally going to write up Cincinnati, and I was just like, I just can't do it. They are awful, and I know it's Oakland, and I actually think that Cincinnati's going to play. I would lay the points with them this week. I think they win at home. That defense is just in shambles. So you could do it, but man, it's a tough sell for me.
Yeah. Could you name 4 guys on the Cincinnati defense right now?
No. Geno Atkins. That's one.
I don't think I could either. It's
riot. Montez Burfitt, is he still there?
Yeah, he's still around. He's kicking. Yeah.
Who are there? Pac-Man? Pac-Man's always perpetually not on the team and on the team.
Yeah, isn't he on Tennessee this year or something?
He's on all the teams. It doesn't. Ray Malaluga. I think he's been out of the league for like 5 years.
Right. He had like his farewell tour in Miami like 3 seasons ago.
Who else? I don't know anyone else from that.
No, team. I'm dead serious. It was not. I didn't want to go down that list. I was just being like, haha, I can't actually name 4 guys from the Cincinnati defense.
No, it's bad.
Yeah, it really is.
I think they have a Bama cornerback, but I can't think of who it is.
Right. They have a cornerback we're supposed to know the name of. So now I'm embarrassed that I even brought it up. But whatever.
Look what you've done.
Don't worry. I've done.
Watch this segue. It's not really a segue, but if you've made it this far, obviously we're wrapping up soon. And as we've been doing every day, the Christmas giveaway thing. This week, every day, one person on our network, from one of the shows gets a free month of any sport that they want. All you have to do, you like the video, like our video, subscribe so you know when all the shows are coming up. And then after this video ends, in the comments section, we want you to write something. What do you want to do? What's the theme of today?
Something. Name a Cincinnati Bengals defensive player.
There we go.
Comments.
So you put
a Cincinnati Bengals.
It doesn't have to be a current one. Just name a former Bengal or anyone you're on. Honestly, the answer is not important. We just want you to comment and get eligible.
Yeah, to be totally honest, you just have to comment. That's all it takes for you to get in the thing. You can write. I'm more of an Andrew fan than Ben, and that would totally work for you.
But yeah, I mean, so do that. You'll get in. It's a free roll. Someone's winning every day, and then you're also eligible for the grand prize. I believe it's drawn on Christmas Eve, which is a full, all-inclusive 1-year subscription, and it's literally for just liking and commenting. So do that. It also helps us, and you know that we appreciate it.
It's true. Last defense, they are on my sheet. Eric brings them up. Vikings, Tannehill in a body bag. I do like that. I like the idea of like a Dalvin Cook Vikings defense, like they just boat race them. I think that's in the cards. And
I get that. I do. I'll take it one step further. There's a chance, and I almost never do this. There's a chance that I actually just play like all the Vikings and the Vikings defense, and think I'd see if the Vikings come out really angry. I could see this being just a full-on demolition.
Yeah. You ever see that show Vikings?
No, I know the show though.
I haven't either, but I've seen enough movies where Vikings when they're.
I'm wearing a Norse shirt though. Look at that narrative streak.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
There you go. Northern
Angry
Kentucky.
Vikings are scary, dude. They kill all kinds of stuff. So.
Eric the Red.
Yeah.
See that? Playing off our friend in chat there.
What?
Chris Henry. Yeah, that was a former Bengal. Rest in peace in the actual way because he is dead.
Yeah.
What else we got? Anything else?
No, I think that's it. That wraps it up. We did it. Happy Friday. What's your favorite bowl game? How do you do? Tease for the show with EMAC that people should go and watch, but maybe give them one of your tastiest bowl selections.
So yeah, we're going to be doing it obviously like slate by slate. So stay tuned. You can get all the thoughts. I will say for tomorrow, I've said this now multiple times, Georgia Southern, I like the spot. The spread is moving. They're a triple option team. So that means that they do not throw the ball maybe more than a handful of times. They're just playing a team that really has the strength in the secondary. So it's a short turnaround in the sense that Eastern Michigan obviously hasn't scouted Georgia Southern. There'd be no reason to do that until they've got their bowl matchup. They played Army earlier in the year. That may help them, but at the same time, they lost that game handily. So I think tomorrow Georgia Southern controls the game, controls the clock, and really just, I'll lay that it's up to 3. I would still take it at that number.
Yep, I like it. Ian says, yeah, I also thought the Vikings would own Buffalo. Haha. It's like, yeah, no, we all did. Like, it's funny. I bring that up not for, yeah, certainly Miami could hang in this game. Whatever. That's not really the point. We don't.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, we don't know the future. There's plenty of possible outcomes. I like the idea of the Vikings. I bring this up and we've talked about this a couple times since. That is the most surprising result of this season and maybe of the last 5 seasons. Like, that is a legendary game. Like, the Buffalo beating the shit out of the Vikings as 17
That's the thing.
dogs.
They were 17-point dogs, and it's not that they won. It was a demolition.
Yep.
Every so often, a double-digit team will win, and it's like, holy smoke. But rarely will you ever see a team thoroughly handle a team like that.
Yeah, they were off. It was off the spread by how much? 50 points?
A lot. A real lot.
And that never happened. Like, if it's 50, that, like, basically never happens. Because even, like, a favorite, if they're favored by a favorite that's, a favorite by 3 points that just, like, destroys a team, like, it's okay, maybe they won by 30. Like, and then you're off the spread by 27. But 50 points apart from it was
it that much?
I don't remember.
Jeez. It was a lot.
It was like 34-7 or something. Honestly, I don't remember. Whatever. But it was a lot. It was very different from what the what was expected. And that does not
happen. No, it's and yes, Rory time soon enough. Golf is coming back. We can't wait. That's going to be awesome. But we're enjoying the break.
Lay off, fella. We're promoting the show for you.
We love it.
Yeah, exactly. Check out Ben and EMAC show. Cousins kind of sucks. That's the problem. 100%. He's bad.
Can't argue with that.
Nope. Thanks, everyone, for watching. This was another fun Friday edition of From A to B, presented to you by Awesemo.com. Like the show if you can. Comment below to get entered into the drawing. Sign up for Yahoo. Use promo code Awesemo. I don't want to overwhelm you with promos, but those are the big ones. Like, comment, Yahoo. Great. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Have a good weekend. We'll check you soon.